Hello everyone, my name is Clover Blue, not really, but let's say it is, and move on to the second episode kind of thingy of my review series thingy. Yeah, I need to really start thinking better ways of doing that. But anyway, this is my first review of something kind of other than a wrestling thing, but I am going to be reviewing Digimon Adventure, the first series of the Digimon anime, and in my opinion, probably the best. So first I want to thank my buddy OzSwanton007 for lending me the series, because I didn't have it. But thanks anyway. First I'm going to analyze it critically. Digimon Adventure is probably one of the best animes critically that I've ever seen. One reason for that is, one, it's only 54 episodes. Two, the episodes are only 21 minutes long, I believe. And about a minute and a half of that is actually just the recap and the intro. So, in that way, it's kind of not great, because they're wasting a minute and a half on that. But most animes do that these days anyway. In fact, no, back in those days, most of them did anyway. But anyway, so to speak critically on this, it's actually a very good anime. One reason for that is they use the whole 21 minutes pretty effectively. There's barely any filler. In fact, in the entire 54 episodes, barely any of it is actually filler. Most of it is important to the storyline, and most of it is like something that if you miss, you probably won't be able to understand what comes next. So in that retrospect, I really do like this, because it's kind of one of those animes that you have to watch beginning to end in order. But I think that's what makes it such a good anime as well, that you can't really miss anything, and it's such a compelling storyline. And there's actually like the different arcs of it as well, and that was arcs. Sorry, my accent went a little weird there. But yes, the different arcs of it, like, it kind of splits it up as well to make it a bit like easier to understand, so that it starts and it ends and then it kind of starts again. But anyway, that's what makes it another great anime as well. That and Digimon is just, it's a huge franchise. Not a lot of people don't know what it is, but it's still really, really good franchise, and it's a really good story, and it's a really good concept as well. A lot of people compare it to Pokemon. In a way, it's very similar to Pokemon, but in a different way, it's very different as well. You can decide on the two which one you like better. It's your own opinion. I really don't have one on that, because, yeah. But as a fan, this is definitely my favourite of the Digimon series. I haven't seen all of them, actually. I've seen Tamers and Data Squad and this one. I've seen, like, episodes of the other ones, but, yeah, it doesn't matter. Because I'll be watching Frontier next. No, sorry, Adventure 2, not Frontier. Anyway, I really like this one because it's got some of my favourite characters. It's got Gatomon, and it's got Agumon and Gabumon. As a kid, these were the ones that I could remember and grew up with, because when this came out, I was kind of at that right age of where, like, Digimon was really huge. Whether you were or not, it doesn't really matter, because it's still such a great anime. All of the characters have their own kind of stories as well, and they've got their own traits and flaws and stuff that makes it kind of relatable. Like, basically, whoever watches this will probably have a character that they can relate to. Me, I personally relate to Matt, so yeah. But other than that, it's a really good anime. I love the different arcs. The different enemies, or bosses, I don't know what you want to call them, but they're like the main enemies of each arc. Originally, there's the Devimon, and then there's Etamon, and then there's Myotismon, and then there's the 4 Dark Masters, and finally there's Apocalypse. I'll try and go through them all. The original story arc, the File Island one, is probably one of the best, if not like the second best in my mind. It's definitely very good intro to it. It only goes for about 16, 15 episodes or something like that. But it kind of introduces all the characters. All of the Digimon end up digivolving. Patamon does in the very last episode of the arc. And he evolves into Angemon and finally gets rid of Devimon. And that's really a great opening to the story, but then they realize it's not over, and then there's a lot more. Then the Etamon arc. I'm not sure whether I like this one or dislike it. It kind of adds to the original arc. And Etamon is definitely my least favorite of the bosses or enemies, because he was just so annoying, and it's a huge Elvis ripoff. We can all just say that. That's what it is. But still, that was an alright one, because it actually leads into my next, my favorite arc. But that one was pretty cool as well, because it definitely leads up to the next one, and it's kind of important in order for this one to make sense. My favorite one, my favorite arc is the third one, and that is the Myotismon arc, or the Battle for Earth arc, or the 8th Digidestined arc, whatever you want to call it. It's them kind of fighting Myotismon, eventually returning to Earth and trying to find the 8th Digidestined child, which turns out to be I'm not going to wreck that, but it's a very good story, and it's definitely one of my favorite. It's definitely my favorite arc of the series, because it's more impactful. There's a great story to it. Nearly every episode in that was worth watching, and every 20 minutes was great. I watched this all in 1 week as well. But yes, that's about it. That's for the Myotismon one. It's definitely my favorite arc, because it is quite a great storyline. It's compelling. You don't want to turn it off. And it's just more impactful than the other ones. The next one is the Dark Masters arc. That one is kind of alright. It's probably not the greatest one. It's definitely not as good as the Myotismon one. But this one, they're taking on the 4 Dark Masters, and they're taking on Piedmon, Puppetmon, Machinedramon, and Metal Seedramon. All of them are megas, so that's kind of the important part of this, is that they're all extremely strong and hard to beat. But obviously, the Digidestined do beat them. Because that's what happens in animes. The good guys always win. I wouldn't want to watch it if they didn't, because then I'd be sad. But other than that, it's kind of short as well. It's good in the fact that it shows that different kids have different problems and stuff like that in finding their own way to the end of it. But they all end up being together at the end, and they defeat Piedmon. But then they realize that it's still not over, and then there's the final boss enemy. I'm just going to call them enemies. But the final enemy, Apocalypse. And Apocalypse is definitely the biggest and baddest enemy that they have to face. It's the final enemy as well. Obviously, that's why. But it's very it's very short, because he's only in it for about an hour and an episode and a half. The battle only goes for about half the episode, half of one episode anyway. And one thing about it is that the story of Apocalypse, the fact that he's the material version of all of the sorrow and despair of the Digimon that couldn't digivolve and became extinct, kind of makes you sad that he's actually in a lot of despair and depressed and stuff like that. But yeah, other than that, he's really short. It's very quick, and that's what kind of takes away from it. But other than that, this is a great anime. If you want to watch an anime that's fully about battle scenes and stuff like that, that's probably not for you. This isn't probably for you, because battles only take about 2 or 3 minutes of an episode, if that. It's not like Pokemon where you can where it goes for 2 episodes. But I definitely think that adds to the story as well, that it gives them more time to deal with that. Also, one thing that's very annoying about this is the Digivolution scenes. They just take a long time, and they're just constantly there. Sometimes they try to quicken it up, but they should be doing that all the time. It's kind of annoying. But that's the one flaw of this entire anime. The rest is just great. I'm not going to rate it, because that's not what I'm going to do. But I definitely recommend that you go out and you find it wherever you can. You watch it, because it's very good. That's all from me. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever you like to do, as long as my name is Quava Blue, and I will see you next time.